Michael Jackson is one of the most successful music artists in history, but one thing he always wanted was to star in movies. Ever since he starred in The Wiz in 1978, Michael became obsessed with being a huge film star, even writing in one of his diaries that without being a huge film star like Fred Astaire, no one would remember who he is. So despite being one of the highest selling artists in the history of music, he really thought no one would remember the name Michael Jackson unless he was a movie star. This obsession led him to get top directors and producers like John Landis to work on his music videos, basically making them short films like Thriller. He then went on to star in a short film written by Stephen King called Ghosts, where he played a bunch of different characters. He would show this film to studios to try to convince them to put him in their movie. It was around this time when a producer working on The Crow suggested instead of Jason Lee, they had Michael Jackson as the main role and made it a musical instead. The director laughed in this producer's face and it never came to fruition, but if that happened, Jason Lee might still be alive making movies today. Then in the mid-90s, Michael Jackson decided he wanted to play Spider-Man and was even attempting to buy the entire company of Marvel to do so. Stan Lee was on board with this, and this was before Marvel's huge success in films, so they were almost bankrupt at the time. Ultimately, the deal fell through, but Michael Jackson's Spider-Man was very close to being a reality. Following this, he also auditioned to play Professor X in the first X-Men movie, showing them the film Ghosts, and the casting director asked him if he realized Professor X was an elderly white man, to which Michael Jackson replied, "You could just put makeup on me." When he found out they were making a remake of Willy Wonka, he became obsessed with playing the main role. He went to his studio and recorded an entire soundtrack for the film and then brought it to the producers. They told him that they loved the soundtrack and would love to use it, but they will not be moving forward with him as Willy Wonka. He took a lot of offense to this and locked the soundtrack away in a vault so no one could ever listen to it. On top of this, Michael was really close to playing Jar Jar Binks in the Star Wars prequels, and he's also featured in Men in Black. MJ's film career was not much of a success, mostly just being music videos and cameos in feature films. But somewhere out there, there's an alternate timeline where Michael Jackson played Professor X, Spider-Man, Jar Jar Binks, Willy Wonka, and The Crow. One person who was really close to playing Willy Wonka was Jim Carrey. If you want to know more about that, check out my video on Willy Wonka versus Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and be sure to like and subscribe for more.